Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow. The main talking points tonight, what is going to be the starting 11 for Scotland? Gordon Strachan edging ever closer to that crucial match against Georgia on Friday night. We'll hear from Steve McManus and James McFadden on the last nightmare trip to Georgia. And I'm delighted to say that we have in our boot room tonight a former Scotland internationalist in Barry Ferguson, who joins myself and Ruffy to talk all things Scotland and of course Clyde, because Barry in the management game now, and what a learning curve that must be from being in your playing days. Now you have to make the decisions. How have you found that transition?
No, I've enjoyed it, to be honest. Obviously it's totally different from when I was playing, but no, I felt I made a decision a year ago to come back up the road. I'd obviously been travelling, playing down in England. I'd left the family up here, and the Clyde job came about, and I just felt it was the right job for me. A lot of people says at the time I was a bit crazy to take it on, but I just felt it was the right way to starting at the bottom end of Scottish football. But listen, in terms of the way it's working for me, the board of directors and the chairman give me the full run of the club in terms of my own budget, choose my training ground, do all the kit stuff, choose the kit. So I'm learning the full things regarding the football club, but I'm loving it. Yeah,
I mean, the key issue here is everybody looks and says, well, great players don't necessarily make great managers, but you know, when you look at yourself as a player and the managers you worked under, you must have been able to take, you know, little golden nuggets from each of them.
Yeah, I mean, I did work with some unbelievable managers, and you do take a wee bit out each of them, what they coached you and what they learnt you, but I want to be my own person, and I want to make my own mistakes. And certainly last year I made a few mistakes, and it was a learning curve for me last year because I didn't know much about League Two, if I'm being honest. But it's a year on, I'm a year older, a year wiser now, and this year's squad is my own squad. I signed most of them. I've only got 3 left out of 21 when I took over. So it's my squad, and I've got high expectations of them this year.
Seeing the footballing side, Barry, do you feel the players are under a wee bit of pressure because of who you are? Or do you find they respond to what you're trying to... Do you know what I mean? When you're in the pub, you know, they go, God, the boss is Barry, you know, if I don't live up to expectations, and some might go into a shell, some might respond to it.
I mean, a few people have raised that point to me, but I try and make the players feel as comfy. I'm a kind of hands-on manager. I want them to feel comfy around about me. If I've got any issues, whether it be football, personal stuff, my door's always open, and I make sure I don't kind of single players out. Everybody's in the same page for me, and I want them to feel comfy with me, and that's the main thing. And I think if you ask any of them, they'll say that I'm approachable, but I do put demands on them, because I was like that as a player, and when I was a captain, I demanded for the players I was playing with. So, but the new players are certainly responded this year for me.
As far as the football and the way you want to play, Barry, I mean, I was listening to Graham Souness talking 3-4 weeks ago, and he mentioned, you know, there's so many people obsessed with playing the Barcelona way, which everybody wants. You know, you want your players to be able to play a certain brand of football. Can you mix and match? Do you change because you were very much brought up in, you know, in a Rangers side where you played the ball on the deck? You were the linchpin almost of that team.
Well, I would love to get the ball down and play, but listen, that philosophy for me is out the window. I've had to change. Again, as I said before there, that I've been a year in League Two. I know now what's needed to get out, and it's no pretty football. And I signed certain players who have been about the divisions. We play a certain way now. At times I do like to get the ball down, but most of the time it's a bit back to front. But that's the way. If Clyde is a football club and me as a manager want to progress, and us as a team, we need to play a certain way to get out this league.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Clyde a little later in the show, but Scotland, Georgia, I think, you know, we can all look back at the nightmare of Georgia. I mean, Ruffy, you and me, we were out there at the time. We were on a great run, Barry. You were in that side, and it all came crashing down around us.
It did. It was a disappointing performance. That's all I put it down to. I mean, as I say, we were on a good run at the time. We had a really good team. We had a formation that had worked in the past. And I don't know, it was just, I put it down to just an off night, just a bad day at the office. And the dressing room after the game, the bus journey to the airport and for the plane back to Glasgow, it was like a morgue. It was really quiet. The boys knew that we'd not just let ourselves down, but we'd let the nation down. It wasn't good enough, the performance. But I'm sure now with this, with Gordon Strachan's team, I see it a total different way now. I think they can go there and win comfortably.
Yeah, it's a point shared by one of your former teammates. Steve McManus was talking yesterday at Motherwell ahead of Keith Lasley's testimonial on Saturday, and he shares your view, thinks Scotland can go there and get a positive result, 3 points.
All international games when you play with Scotland are hard, whether they're at home, whether they're away from home, they're very tough. But I've certainly got no fears that Scotland can go and at worst pick up a draw. But I definitely think that the group of players that they've got, how hard they're working for each other, the way the manager's got things organised, that they can certainly win the game.
Strangely enough, after that, of course, all roads eventually led to Hampden. And was there a moment, I've got to ask you, when you got that equaliser, you thought it's back on? That's one of those games, Scotland against Italy, where I firmly believe there was just a moment inside that stadium when you equalised that, we thought we could take Italy here.
It was, I take it back to, before we went out to do the warm-up, you could actually, because you're underground in Hampden, you've obviously been there yourself in the dressing room, you could actually hear the atmosphere. And when you walked out to do the warm-up, it was electric. And the crowd that day were phenomenal, and we took Italy the full way. I thought we were a better team, and for some odd reason I popped up and scored a 1-yarder, I'll put it down to. But
yeah, you were deadly from that area. Honestly, that was your best, time out from the ground. As soon as you're a yard out,
I'd still my eyes
lethal.
covered when he was going to put it in. How good it was that?
I don't blame you. But at that stage, I did think we were going to do it. But it goes back to the Georgia game, and that was a big disappointment.
And strangely enough, one of the guys in that Georgian side could be earning his 91st cap on Friday, because it's a new manager. He's changed it around, and one of your old teammates, Zurab Kizhnashvili, looks as if he'll be back in there to try and add a bit of solidity to the team.
I know. I thought Zurab had retired. I've not heard much of Zurab for a few years, but no, he was a good player. I enjoyed playing with Zurab, so he's got a lot of experience. So obviously their managers see Scotland as a difficult game, and he'll want to try and get as much experience into that team as possible.
Yeah, we're going to look at the formation of the team that played against the Republic of Ireland. Have a look at this, guys, and see, Ruffy, Barry, what you make of it, and whether you think he'll steer too much away from this. Stuart McCall mentioned yesterday he thought maybe there were still one or two places up for grabs. There it is: Marshall, Hutton, Martin, Mulgrew, Forsyth, Brown, Morrison, Ritchie, Maloney, Naismith and Fletcher. Barry, would you deviate in any way from that? Is there one or two that could be posing a problem?
I tend to look at the centre forward. Listen, I'm a big admirer of Stephen Fletcher. I think he's a really good player. But for me, the informed striker in Scottish football is Lee Griffiths. He's scoring goals just now, and that in the left back. I like Forsyth, but I'm a big admirer of the boy Robertson at Hull City. So that's maybe the two that I would maybe tinker with. Goals, you need to go and get goals, and I says the guy in form's Lee Griffiths. He's scoring goals for fun just now.
Ruffy?
Yeah, I think that's my main worry. As Stephen said there, I think we're a team now. It doesn't look as if they're going to get beaten.
Mm-hmm.
I think any game we go into, we always look as if we're going to be hard to beat. My problem is, if you take the Gibraltar game out of the equation, we're a goal a game team. And if you go into games knowing you've only got one goal, there's a lot of tension on you for the 90 minutes unless you can get that second one. So I think set pieces are going to be really important. And I think Mulgrew will feature somewhere.
Is there a need, just briefly, to take the game to them? I mean, we look back at Celtic's failings against Malmo, maybe the wrong tactic and the wrong approach to Malmo.
No, I don't think so. I think we know how they're going to play. They'll just sit in and try and hit us in the break. So I think you just have to be patient and wait for your moment.
Okay, lots more to talk about. Delighted that our boot room guest is Barry Ferguson. We'll talk more about Scotland. We'll round up some of the news emerging today, and we'll also get his thoughts on Clyde, because he's the man who's got to try and get them as close as possible to the playoffs, maybe even automatic qualification for Clyde to the top division. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Delighted we've, as ever, every night, Monday to Friday, 6:30 on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow, we usually have a top drawer goalkeeper here, and that is, of course, Ruffy. And as ever, we always have a top drawer midfielder. And Barry Ferguson's here too. I was dying to say that, Ruffy, never going to get away with it. He still looks as if he could play now. I can't believe he's looking for any other players other than himself.
Yeah, that I was going to say. What made you make up your mind not to?
My ankle. Simple. I had the season where I actually took over it at Blackpool as caretaker manager. We were playing Millwall down at the New Den, and I got a freak injury. A guy just fell on top of just in between the middle of my knee and my ankle. I went and got an operation. I think it was the 4th or 5th operation, but in between that, I probably, if I'm telling the truth, I've had about 10 to 12 injections into that ankle as well. So when I was coming back, I was just getting pain, and I didn't want it to go on. I want to be able to walk.
But would you have liked to have?
I would have. I can still keep myself fit in terms I can go straight line running. I can go round about Strathclyde Park, but moving side to side, twisting and turning, I'm getting pain.
It's funny you saying that, because we were at the weekend helping raise funds for Thorneywood United, and one of your old teammates as well, Charlie Miller's the exact same. You guys can go
I look
now.
a bit fitter than Charlie.
Oh no, you look better. Well, I can't say you look better than Charlie, because I know he'll be a guest sooner or later and he'll slaughter me for it. But to be fair, you guys still, you want to play as long as you possibly can. But even Charlie and a number of other guys that I know, the exception to the rules, Alec Ray. I mean, Alec Ray will play till he's 104 because he's still fit. But you want to play on, but you don't want to get to a point where you're saying.
No, well, I got to a point where I did ask the surgeon, is there going to be, at some stage, I'll need to get something serious done with my ankle, whether it be an ankle replacement or whatever, because as I say, I've had a lot of operations on it. I've got screws and pins in it, and I've had quite a lot of injections over the years to playing games where maybe I should have just said, right, you know what, I'll miss 2 or 3 games. Yeah. But I was desperate to play, and at the time I knew later on it would affect me. But listen, I got to 37. I mean, it's a no bad age to get to play. Could I still play? I probably could. I still look after myself. I still enjoy keeping myself fit. I do miss it, but it's a new chapter in my life.
Yeah.
And again, we played in the charity game on Sunday. You're obviously wanting me to mention that.
No, don't mention anything. No, because at the end of the day, I say to Ruffy, the great thing is, when I watch you guys play, I just realise how bad I am and how easy you guys make it look. Even your brother, is a fantastic player, and now you play alongside him, and he's still, professionals just make it look so easy. It's
good that we can play in the games, because you bump into a lot of guys that you never really see now, and that you played against or you played with. So when you played in the game on Sunday, it's still a good standard.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I was pleasantly surprised how you were.
It's a knack, isn't it, being able to play in that centre circle and knock him out as a midfield player.
Yes,
because I've seen Peter.
Well, just on that point, this Scotland side, would you love to play in that? Because there are a few players in. We've got a plethora of great
I've got to be
midfielders.
honest with you. The most improved player for me in Scotland, by a mile, Scott Brown. I think the last couple of years he's come on a leaps and bounds. I don't know whether he's matured or a lot of people say you get better as you get older. I think the last couple of years he's become a right top player, and a right leader.
He's almost a player like yourself that we couldn't do without. You need him in the midfield.
I think he's got to play. He's a certain starter, and obviously if Dan Fletcher's not playing, he is the captain. But for me, I think his all-round game's improved over the last couple of years. I don't know whether it's the responsibility of being captain, but I still like he's got that nasty streak about him, and I like that. I like that in players. But he's a massive, massive player for Scotland.
Can we win tomorrow night?
100%. I've mentioned it. I mean, when you go out with your pals for a couple of beers or whatever on a Sunday, and you get the vibe that I'm the same now. 3 or 4 years ago, if Scotland were playing, would I be bothered about missing it? No, I wasn't bothered. Now I want to tune in and watch Scotland, and that's Gordon Strachan. It's all down to him.
Yeah.
And the way the team play, I enjoy watching them. And they've gave the full nation that buzz back. And I think they can get there. I think they go there, get a victory, and they can certainly qualify, no problem.
Yeah, and should we hold any fears if we can get the right result tomorrow at Germany on Monday?
No, I think we're set up perfect. Ruffy mentioned earlier, we're set up perfect to play away from home and hitting the counter-attack. And that's the way I think Gordon Strachan will go, because he's got pace in the wings. I mean, the two boys out wide have got pace to burn.
Yeah.
And any good team needs pace, and we've certainly got that.
When it comes to the Germany game, obviously we're hoping we get a win. I would like us to have the same attitude as we had against Italy. And remember, we had it against Spain at Hampden, these 2 games. Well, we didn't sit back and went, oh, look at the stars they've got.
Yeah.
We actually just got in about them, and you could see with the reaction in their players, they went, we're in for a game here.
Yeah, absolutely. You can give us your thoughts at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter and facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy as well. Of course, I like Russell Martin's attitude to it. He's just told his wife, we're not going on holiday, I'll be off to France with Scotland. That's the type of arrogance I like about it all. Maybe a bit tongue-in-cheek, but still with that streak of, we're going to make it.
I think you've got to have a bit of arrogance, and as you say, I seen that quote this morning, and I like that kind of attitude. But I don't know whether he gets back in the house, his wife will be too happy with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But listen, that's what you want. That's the kind of attitude you want for the players.
Got to talk to you before we finish about Clyde. As far as your ambitions, I said obviously your ambition is to try and, I would imagine, playoffs, get them out of that division up into League One. Do you feel confident you've got a side that can push up in the top end?
Yeah, I've signed. As I says, I made a conscious decision of changing the way I'm playing. That I played last season. I signed boys who have been about League 2 and League 1, and then I actually got 4 or 5 for the Championship. That was a kind of market I kind of went into, because there's not a lot of money in Scottish football just now, and guys in the Championship are probably looking ahead for their future, trying to get jobs elsewhere, or some of them are going to uni. So that was a market I tapped into, and I've got players that can certainly play at a higher level. But one thing you need in League 2, as I say, I've been in it a year, you need to win the battle, and the boys are clear on that. And that's what we've got to have ambition. There's no point being in football if you've not got ambition, and that our ambition is trying to get into League 1 as quick as possible.
Yeah, well, we wish you the very best of luck in that. Of course, 2 wins, 2 defeats so far, sitting 7th. It's a long way to go.
Well, the two defeats, we dominated the games, we just weren't clinical enough. And that's me not just having a go at the fault, that's throughout the team, set pieces, because we're a big threat for set pieces. We're quite a big team this year. That's another thing that I needed to add, was quite a bit of height and strength to the team. So we won the clinical, the first half against Queen's Park. I think we had 10 opportunities within the first 20 minutes, and you've got to take one of them. I'm a big believer the team that scores first in games, a high percentage going to win the game. And it was the same up in Montrose the week after that. But Saturday, to be fair to the boys, again it was like a carbon copy of Queen's Park. There was nothing each at half time. We started like a house on fire. We missed again, 7 or 8 chances. And I says to them at half time, there's no use being in this dressing room feeling sorry for yourself. You've got to go out. You never turned up the second half against Queen's Park. And to be fair to the boys, they went out and we thoroughly deserved their 3 points against East Stirling, because they're a stuffy team. They're a difficult team to play against.
Yeah. Listen, I know you're involved in a bit of charity work. Just briefly, tell us about Get On Side, because I know this is something that you've actually got involved in. I know players don't get a chance to take on a charity. What are you doing with them?
Well, I've always been like, into charity stuff, and when you're a player, I was explaining earlier to you that when you turn up at charities, it's just a quick 40 and you don't get to mix with them. But Clyde had come to me and a guy called David Douglas to work with mental health people. And what we've done is you work with a group of 12 guys who are all different, like autism, and some maybe try to commit suicide, all sorts throughout the full range. We bring them, we train them, they do a bit of classroom work, and it's like for 8-week blocks. And now we've started to get around all the different clubs. So it's something I've been really interested in, something that when I get approached about it, I was desperate to do. And I look at it as me getting something back. And I'm enjoying it, and Bob's involved in it as well. He's out doing a bit of coaching, so I'm hopeful quite a lot of other clubs will get involved in it as well.
Great. Well, listen, full marks to you, Barry. We definitely hope that you have great success with Clyde this season. Fingers crossed, and delighted that you could give us your views on Scotland as well. We hope they can do it. We'll know by tomorrow when our programme starts. Thanks to Barry Ferguson from Ruffy and myself. Good night.